Welcome, everybody, to the latest Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast. I am the Doc, John Macaroon. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Hopefully, you all are staying warm. My goodness, here in the Sterling Heights office, going to talk over the next 30, 45 minutes or so on this Thursday before I head home. News of the day, Dan Skipper retires. What does that mean for the offensive line? Should his colleague and teammate Taylor Decker follow suit? Should the Lions make the move for him? ESPN did a standard article, and they listed their bold predictions, and they said, you know what? Maybe the Lions need to make the decision for Taylor Decker for him. And look, it's the offseason, and when an organization drops the hammer on a player, it clearly indicates that organization does not want that player around anymore. Should the Lions benefit? And I know everybody thought online today it was crazy, but I'll explain why the Lions should take a chance on Keon Coleman. Grit, if there's a time when a player is going to be motivated, it's right after a team drops the hammer on you publicly, nationally. And look, he's a Spartan dog. Give him a chance. It follows similar suit to potentially what Jameson Williams went through. So we'll talk about it. Yes or no? I know everybody's like, listen, Keon Coleman's not a center, not a left tackle, not a defensive end, but you're going to draft positions that are not exactly areas of need. So let's talk about it. But first and foremost, let's pay respect to Dan Skipper, who appeared in 69 career games. Were you fans that went to Ford Field and cheered when he would report as eligible? 2 years ago, it was crazy. The Lions are playing the Cowboys, and, it's unbelievable that Dan Skipper tried to report and the officials botched it, and it cost the Lions a 2-point conversion. And it was blatant. What were the officials looking at? And Dan Skipper became a cult hero. Prior to that, let's show respect, too. When he got cut, I think it was featured on Hard Knocks. When it aired, everybody understood the plight of a player that's kind of lingering on the lower end of the roster. But, he always worked his way back, got on the practice squad, and worked his way back to the roster. And a glue guy. I think a player that Dan Campbell respected, saw a guy that maybe is not the most talented, but with his size and willingness to work, was somebody that put forth the effort to stay on the roster. And he ended up being a decent reserve guard and tackle. What's your favorite memory of Dan Skipper? Did you cheer Skip? I think he became a popular figure just too in some of the features that were written about him, realizing that, it was just a tough time going, being one of those guys that's always cut or viewed as a guy that's, a player that can be disposed of, put in the practice squad or brought back up. Those fringe players, it's a tough grind mentally when you're not always guaranteed a roster spot. But he played, I think, 66 games for the Lions. And this one stings a little bit because an injury forced him to retire. Now, he reports that he's going to step right into coaching at the East-West Shrine Bowl. He's going to coach tight ends and the offensive linemen. I think he's got a wealth of knowledge. Absolutely. Share your thoughts about Skipper here for the first few minutes before we get into his teammates. Shout out to TM Martin Esquire 6216. Roll call. Where are you guys listening in from on this Thursday? Detroit Fan Man, shout out. Donkey Kong, Mishanuga, LC Master. All hail Skip. Absolutely. Dan Skipper deserves the respect for the work that he did. Mishanuga says, thank you, Dan. Detroit Fan Man 9899. Will Manu following Skipper's shoes to play that huge tight end role now needed in pretzel heavy 13 offense. Pet Zings. I like it. Drew Pretzel. Is that going to be his nickname here on the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast? Smash the like button for the new OC, Drew Pretzel. It's Drew Petzing. You know what? It's hard because I was a fan of Loveline. I keep thinking of his name as Drew Pinsky, or his name Petzing doesn't come to mind. Every time I try to write it, I know it's zing, pet zing. But it just, that one's going to probably stick with me. So forgive me if you see Drew Pretzel in one article. It'll get edited out fast. Riley, shout out to you. Let's go. Big Thursday show. Always enjoy it. Yeah, I've been enjoying talking to you guys live. We just started. You only missed 3 minutes. It's Jay Stees. It's all good. Roll call. Where are you listening in from? It's Jay Stees. Where's everybody checking in from today? Dan Skipper, look, Giovanni Manu, what was your guys' reaction when you heard Brad Holmes say that he's maybe not just exactly ready yet to be named the starter? I would have did it. I would have told him. I would have said publicly, we expect him to come in and compete to be the starter. It's his job. Brad said he's got to earn the job, that it's not fair for a developmental player to have that much pressure. Why not? Put the pressure on him. You're our right tackle or you're our left tackle of the future. Get after it. And if you're not, you're going to get cut. Michinuga's in Tennessee. Doughboy Steve, shout out to you. Belleville, Michigan. It's Jay Steve. It's Jay Steves from the West Side, Grand Rapids. You can hear some of my interviews sometimes when I'm on the Huge Show. He has me on at least once a week. Smash the like button. It's the free way to support the cause. Super chats go right to the front of the line. Members have access to the emojis. Smash the emojis. It's Jace D says, hopefully we trade back and draft Jennings Dunker. A lot of you are into the trenches. A lot of you are into making sure that the mistakes that were made from the past don't get made again. You know, Jennings Dunker, the Iowa tackle, not bad. Not bad at all. I think a lot of people like his name too. A lot of people are talking about, you know, some linemen and in the trenches from Miami, Indiana. Appreciate you. Great appearance on Crunch Time Sports last night, Doc. Excellent analysis. Very interesting, in-depth dialogue. Go check it out. Booner was incapacitated, so I spent some time with Hefe, gave him an extra 15 minutes. We did 90 minutes just talking about the Lions back and forth. Appreciate you checking it out. Thank you so much. And thank you for becoming a member. Boom. New member. Welcome, welcome to the official member community. Smash the emojis. No. Jeff, you sick or sad? Not at all. I feel great. I've avoided the flu. But, you know, by 7 o'clock, you know, waking up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 6 stories in. Went to the gym today. It was nice. Got to see the Troy Lifetime facility. First time in some months. Very nice. But, yeah, it's the end of the day. Got to pick it up, right? Are you sensing it's the end of the day? Got to pick up the energy. Matthew, but I'm feeling good. Besides Ratledge and Sewell, we have no other starting offensive linemen at the moment. Right? Mahogany has to work. Frazier, I think, is a wild card that you got to pay attention to. I think he's going to make some noise to compete. Maybe take Mahogany's job. Maybe opportunity at center. We shall see. It's going to be a big OTAs for the offensive lineman. But shout out to Skipper. Credit him. LC Masters in Port St. Lucie, Florida. I'm probably sure you're going to say it's like 75 and sunny. It ain't that. We're about to hit an Arctic blast here in Michigan. Hit a like for the doc. He keeps it real. Keith Fountain, is Booner still detained by ICE? We told some jokes. We told some jokes today, too. Oh, man, it was fun. Check out at Detroit Podcast for some hilarities. Make sure when Crunch Time starts after my show here, ask him, did he post bail and how was the sex swing? He had himself quite the wild Wednesday. Oh, what's it like, Donkey Kong? What's the Arctic blast like? Oh, man, they're looking at -8 tomorrow. Mishanuga, just with a thank you, $1.99 super chat. Appreciate that. TM Esquire is a new member. All right. This is a tough one. This is tough. You might save $12 million. You might save a little bit more if you designate him a post June 1st cut. What do you do about Taylor Decker? His numbers now, an article was posted by ESPN, and they indicated that, they talked about the offseason, looking at DJ Reader, Alex Anzalone, and they said that their bold prediction would be to force the decision and cut Taylor Decker. Man, that's tough, right? That's a tough thing to think about, but you get some cap space. You might get 40 million from Jared Goff, another 12 from Decker. You might get 5, so that's, about $60 million in cap space if you cut Decker, Montgomery, and restructure Jared Goff. Plus the rate, it's probably expected that, the cap's going to go up 15, 20 million on its own. What do you do? Do you make the decision? Now, his numbers weren't that great this year. He battled injuries. That's the context. He definitely was injured. And it's unfortunate, but I think that we got to take a look at it. Taylor Decker is a veteran. Here's what Aaron Schatz had to say at ESPN. You go to our site, you see our videos. Make sure you check in. You see the great videos. What's the commercial today? Oh, Adobe. The Lions, the bold prediction from Aaron Schatz is the Lions will cut left tackle Taylor Decker if he does not retire. He'll be 33 years old next season and has had issues with shoulder injuries. In 2025, he fell to 45th out of 69 ranked tackles in pass block win rate, and he ranked 61st in run block win rate. He still thinks he can ball, but he did not have a good year. He battled injuries, and the numbers based on at least, statistical measures of how he pass blocked and run blocked might not have been his best 2025 season. It makes it tough because there's true cap space. I think that he wants to battle to be part of the roster. He wants to battle, but there's some difficulties here. What are your thoughts? Is this something that the Lions got to make the decision for him? Detroit fan man gets in. No guarantees on anything, but that's the best option on the table. Sewell replaces Decker at left tackle. Draft a right tackle at 17. Salty Pork Chops with a Z, 18. You can draft a tackle, but no guarantee that they will be good. That's the thing, then. It's part of the skepticism that you start to see is like, man, you got to plug a couple holes on the offensive line. You got to add maybe 3 defensive ends. You might have to add a safety because Brian Branch is going to have come back from Achilles. That might be something that is a challenge. Can one offseason replace all those needs, all the holes? Good question. Who is Decker's replacement? I think that, Miles Frazier is going to be in the mix in terms of, I don't know if he's going to be a tackle. I think he projects better as a guard, might be a center. Yeah, you got to probably draft one or go out in free agency. I think that the smart thing to do is move Penei Sewell and move him to left tackle so you guarantee that you have some comfort that Jared Goff's blind side is protected. You don't want some rookie going out there. But I think it's time. I mean, you got to see. You got to see about Giovanni Manu and throw him out there at right tackle. He's got the size profile. You hope that he develops and stays healthy. You would think that the opportunity presents itself. Now, the Lions wanted Jamarco Jones, but unfortunately he got hurt. Murph GFX, shout out to you for listening in today. People will look at all of this news so far and believe honestly in their heart of hearts that we will get better next season. I wish I had that level of stupidity. No, listen, hopium for some It runs deep. It runs deep. And a lot of people want to have faith every year because think about it. Why would you go into the year every year going, man, it's a lot of holes? We talk about it. You got to plug them. Right? And we're rolling with 4 or 5 tight ends next year. We're going to talk about that. We are going to talk about that after I get your guys' sense. Hassanin Mahdi 540. Habibi, my dear friend, I see Skipper making the right decision. Dak, who do you think wins the Super Bowl? Let me test you because you always have a great vision, and I believe what you will say. I like Seattle. I think that they have a great run game. They got a Michigan State Spartan dog running back in Kenneth Walker. I like Jackson and Jigba. Wow. I think that if their quarterback from Seattle does not turn the ball over, I think they're better than the Rams. Matthew Stafford will be the one that turns it over, and I like home teams. Now, before Bo Nix of Denver got hurt, I would have said Denver, but I think it's going to be Seattle and New England, and that's going to be an amazing game. But there's something magical about New England, the way that they make plays, the way that they battle. I like their quarterback. I think the Patriots could win it. But I think the best team that's playing right now is Seattle. If you do a deep dive, I think Seattle and New England looks to be an amazing, amazing game. Amazing. I think that, the wide receiver situation for New England's interesting. But their defense is legit. They make plays. They're aggressive. Their interior is okay. So we shall see. Seattle, New England, I think the Patriots win the Super Bowl as we talk today. Could change with more research. Shout out to you, Mr. Mahdi. Donkey Kong 43. We don't have a center or right tackle on the roster as we speak. I know, right? And everybody's like, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Tate Ratledge is not a center. I think, no, he's going to be a guard. I think that's his best spot. What do you guys think? How do the Lions fix the offensive line? I think you got to go out and get a draft one and probably free agent. And pay attention to, there's a developing player, Mason Miller, on the practice squad. He spent the whole year on the practice squad, got another contract with the Lions to continue his development. Pay attention to him. He spent the year. He's a tackle guard combo, but I think he prefers tackle. Detroit fan man says, but if Manu can catch, why not let him play that giant inline tight end role in Petzing's new offense? Potentially. He might be one of those dudes. But with a knee injury, how fast is he going to be? How quickly in space can he get to where he needs to go? We shall see. How do you guys fix this offensive line in one offseason? It's going to be tight. You have to make sure you get the right player, and they got to perform. That's going to be key. But do you think that Decker comes back? Do you want him back? I don't know. It's tough because if he's healthy, he provides you something. But his last season might have been more hurtful than helpful for the 2025 season. Now, let's give credit where credit's due. Aiden Hutchinson, do you believe is going to take down an award? I don't think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I'm sorry. That one's going to Myles Garrett. Do you think Comeback Player of the Year? I think it's going to be between Aiden and Mr. Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey. I think it goes to McCaffrey. But Aiden Hutchinson, how are you guys now, a couple weeks past, how are you viewing his season? 14 and a half sacks, had pressures, but there was a stretch in the middle of the season where he only had 3 sacks. And there were times where they came in bunches in some meaningless moments. There was a stretch there right in the middle of the season. It went win-loss, 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 where Aiden only had 3 sacks in 8 games. You can go pull up his stats. How do you view the 14 and a half sack season of Aiden Hutchinson? The power was there. His burst is there, spin move there. I thought that for what the Lions were looking for. The problem is, do you believe he's worth $48.5 million? I think he's still going to get better. Why do you say that, TM? Hutch returned kind of mid. Why do you say that? Live from Greenland, USA. Is comeback player or just an injured player award? No, you have to contribute. Run CMC was getting 30 touches a game. He held on, but you see what he was saying? He's like, please, I'm willing now to accept. Give me some help. I could see David Montgomery landing in San Francisco. I could see that. If the Lions let him go, I think that he could make his way there, and that would be some kind of combo. Him and CMC. And I think that what Lions fans are sensing is that, yeah, we like the power of Hutchinson, but they're liking the speed of Will Anderson. They're liking the constant dominating force that Will Anderson is down in, down out. With Hutchinson, it's like, he gets a lot of attention. He'll get a pressure. Then there'll be a couple, plays where nothing happens. Some lulls in the action and productivity. But he is getting doubled. He is drawing the attention, and he's not just as elusive and shedding the blocks as a guy like Will Anderson is. That's what I think people want to see is, man, a guy that's like a force. And unfortunately, when you're paying someone $48 million, you kind of want to see what a guy like Myles Garrett can do. Battling the double teams and winning a lot of times. Triple teams. All the attention on Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett is like one of one. Do you think Aiden Hutchinson is going to win the comeback player of the year? I don't think so. J-Mo Lion King, I agree with you. Hutch will be even better next year like McNeil. I agree. I think you should expect at least 14 sacks a year every year from now until Aiden's at least 30. Look at you, Precision. Are you rage baiting, as the young people are calling it? You're not going to do that. His value to the team is very much respected. Brad Holmes loves him, some of his own guys. What do you guys think of Precision Staining 7213? You're staining my YouTube. I respect it. You typed that. Brent DeWitt, shout out to you. Member of the chat, valued member. Smash the emoji, smash the like button. 250 people across 2 platforms. CMC wins it, Doc. Hutch wasn't bad, but not better. Agree. He'll be out there at the awards probably. Doc, is Booner still in the dungeon using his sex swing? He was only able to perform last night. The hymns got him through the evening, and it wore off. Make sure tonight at 8 o'clock you ask him about his interaction with Ice and how did he perform in his special room for the first time. Couldn't believe he put it all together himself, and he finally got to use it. Can you believe that he was the one that got put in it? Getting spanked and all that kind of stuff. Ask him how his experience was on the pills. He took pills for the first time, reportedly. Doc is baiting, more like it. I think the guys that you guys now want to trade are guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown after what he said yesterday. Trade St. Brown for a bag of Doritos. Man, Amon-Ra with the podcast this year and the dances and what he did politically, he kind of earned himself a lot more haters. When he did the president's dance and, based on what people are viewing about him, he's gained some haters. I disagree, though. I think you guys should respect Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a competitive dude, and he's a young guy doing a podcast. Sometimes you say things, and you let it rip. Do you see his brother, though? Check out the clip again. Equanimous is like, oh, no. He was like, wow. He's like, listen, when you're doing a podcast, sometimes you get into the flow. You're talking, you're feeling good, and you want to say something. So while I don't agree with it, clearly, talk your ish, as they say. Talk your ish, 14. Keith O's chat on chat crime. You guys are dumb as hell trading Gibbs, trade St. Brown. No, the Lions are going to pay Jahmyr Gibbs. He's like, true, fans wanted Malik Willis. Enough said. He might not be a bad backup. Live from Greenland, USA. Now, this is interesting, Donkey Kong. This is the point that we're going to hit to next. Let us know. Shout out. You can always, in the comments, give respect to Dan Skipper, your favorite memories. Is Aiden Hutchinson going to win? Let's talk about this. This is a new concept that everybody's doing. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be great. The Lions are going to run more 13 personnel. What does that mean? Multiple tight end sets, 12 and 13 personnel. 2 tight ends and 12, 13, 3 tight ends. The Steelers did it against you. It's a blocking scheme that allows you to be able to run effectively through the tackles and outside, and also potentially when you push and pull, you can have a bunch of interior threats as well. Now, what is your guys' thoughts about this now preoccupation from the Lions with running the football? Here's where it's good. Jahmyr Gibbs will be able to control the line of scrimmage. You'll be able to control the game, keep things reasonable, respectable. More and more teams got to run the football. This is good. This is something that Drew Petzing Pretzel was able to handle in a respectful way. Drew Petzing got Connor running effectively. And you have the ability to control the game. We now know, based on reports as well. Quick news here. Ahmed's going to change his jersey. He's going to be in the 90s. Since his training, he's going to be a monster. He's so hungry, he's going to help Hutch. He will be a surprise. Let's go. I like it. He's going to be a monster. You know what? Let him take 91. Tell him 91 looks good on him. Inshallah, one day you'll be watching. And he promised he was going to give me an interview. Big smile. Year 2 interview with the doc. Inshallah. Yeah. McVay started running 13 because of Drew. Whatever credit he gets, Mishanuga, fine. I like it. I like the concept. You know, Dan Campbell naturally is going to love that. If they run 12 and 13 personnel, they better get a veteran free agent center. Those schemes under Petzing demands a lot out of the center, and I don't think that individual is currently on the roster. Now, what's funny is that some reporters are believing that they're going to drop Froling. I'm like, what? How are you going to do a mock offseason and a center that's still under contract with the Cardinals? Unless that guy wants out, he's 29 years old and a decent center. I don't think Froling's leaving. So you're right. You need a center. So everybody thinks, oh, everything's going to work out great. Here's the problem. It has a chance to work. Yes, running the football is great. You repair your offensive line. You get after it. You control the game. Jahmyr Gibbs is special. Fine. There's a problem. One little problem with this 13 personnel love that everybody loves. Teams understand, all right, what do you do to stop it? Well, one, if you get out to a lead, that's how you take someone out of their game plan. get out to a 14-0 lead. Your defense has to shine. You can't be playing from behind. You're going to have to then pass the ball effectively. What if teams stack the box? What if teams sell out and say, okay, we're going to put, extra bodies in the box? When you have these blocking tight ends, there's a more risk of injury. And you get these guys like a Freiermuth who's not happy. They're like, man, I want to be. These guys like blocking, yeah, but they like getting the rock too. Pat Freiermuth was like, man, I didn't get enough love this year. But you can stack the box and be able to disrupt the 13 personnel. And if the Lions are playing from behind, you got to also have the balance of getting these wide receivers involved. So that's why the sequencing and the timing of it. And also, too, Drew Petzing got predictable. When he would stack guys to the left side, everyone knew where to bring the pressure from. Tampa, and the key game is going to be, I think, if the Buccaneers again are on the schedule. I forget if they are, but the Buccaneers were able to pick apart the Cardinals offense last year. And then their coach said, we knew it was coming. We knew what to do. That's what everyone's trying to report on. I don't think so. Froholt might be a cap casualty. I don't think so. Why would you? His numbers are great. I think if that happens, I think that's the first call you make. Exactly. Joshua, I would actually prefer to be a passing team with Goff just tossing the pill like he owns. Joshua, like he owes the Mexicans. Running the football has its strengths, clearly, but you got to be able to balance it out. You got to then be able to sell the play action. You can't become one-dimensional. And the Cardinals sort of at times became one-dimensional. The keys to wisdom, that's done. First of all, that was weird because Jared said it on the radio, and then the reporters still asked about it because they don't listen to the radio that much, I guess. Jared said, nah, that ship has sailed. Unless he's trying to play games. Jared Goff said that ship has sailed. He said it loudly into his telephone when he was interviewed. Hassanin Mahdi says that Egypt have a lot of magic. Ahmed Hassanin, one of the Egyptian magicians. I love it. Ahmed Hassanin, the Egyptian magician. Frank Ragnow is retired. I run 13 with JMO. Number one, it works every time on Madden. D Originals 2755. Lions weakness, third down stops. Are you guys okay if the Lions are running the ball 20 times a game? Do they go younger and dismiss David Montgomery? Do they keep him and utilize him? I think if you're going to do that, go younger. Younger, more impactful. Are you guys cool with 12 and 13 personnel? Are you guys going to be okay with Sam Laporta doing some more blocking? Joshua, Doc, you think you can slip some Russian roids into the team's water and food supply? Got to bulk up. The Lions are going to have 5 tight ends. Brock Wright, Shane Zylstra, Ferkser, Sam Laporta. The new guy. And then draft a couple more. They're going to have a dodgeball battle. The tight ends and the wide receivers, 7-on-7. Right. The keys to wisdom, you know what's up. Extra tight ends is no answer to anything unless you have higher level talent at offensive line. That's my concern. Yes, on paper, for right now, okay, we get it. 12 and 13 personnel, open up the run game, get the play action going. Drew Petzing was somebody that was able to utilize that to some degree effectively. We shall see. But you got to be in games. You got to score. You can't fall behind. Keith Fountain maybe use Laporta like Trey McBride. I want to use Sam Laporta like Colson Loveland. That dude was awesome. Similar styles. Get him out in the flats, get him out in the open, open up even more the route tree. Let's unleash Sam Laporta. Hopefully he stays healthy. I want to see it. Are you guys thumbs up, thumbs down on 13 personnel? Run, kind of old school. Dan Campbell's taking us back to the 1990s. Run and pound the rock. Good question, Detroit fan man. I tried to ask him. He's like, he gave me the professional answer, which is wherever the team wants me, that's where I go. I asked him point blank, are you playing left tackle? He's like, we haven't talked about it yet. No discussions. Doc, has Panay ever expressed any interest in moving to left tackle when available, or is he a right tackle for life? You can go check out the video on YouTube with Panay Sewell, his end of season media session. You'll hear a friendly, homey voice, your favorite NFL insider, reporter, entertainer, podcaster, trusted source. I asked him, I said, hey, has the team told you about any potential talks about going to left tackle? He's like, no talks. I said, do you want to? He said, any expectation that you might move over there? He's like, no expectations. I just do what they tell me. So there was no reveal if he's going to do it. Probably out of respect for Taylor Decker. Could you imagine? He's like, yeah, I'm going to take that spot. And Taylor's like, I want to play. I want to get paid. Steve Wild. He's taking us back to the 90s and the inconsistency of the team, too. I know. You guys are not happy with Dan Campbell, and you should. The heat should turn up. Turn up the dial. Win. You guys are going to boo the first 3 and out of Drew Petzing. But now, I want to say, I didn't officially confirm it, but I was just going by photos, right? Judging by the photos you see online, Petzing's on the sideline, right? First and foremost, let's clap. Right now, I was not reporting it, but I said bonus on Detroit Podcast. So I want to set the record straight because you guys love the tweet, and I believe I saw it. Wasn't there a photo of Drew Petzing standing next to Kyler Murray? I believe from photos and watching the film, unless I was tired, that man is on the sideline. I know it's tough to see him, but he's there. So good. Back to the sideline. John Morton was hiding. I felt bad on a side note. I felt bad. He was sitting there, and then when he got his job cut, he'd just be standing there looking, and he's probably like, why are these cameras on? He'd probably see that little red light, and he's like, oh, there they go again, showing me, doing nothing. I don't know his height. I mean, I don't know what his size is, but they say he's a funny guy. So we'll probably meet him at the combine. That means I got to make a trip in February to the combine. But double check. Because like I said, now we're in January. It's the end of a long season. I'm doing a lot more work. So I want to be factually accurate that I'm not reporting that he's going to call from the sideline, but I just observed the film from last year and the pictures. He was on the sideline, right? Nobody corrected me because I think you all liked it. All right. Last topic. Might take 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to lay this out. I understand the Lions' needs. Left tackle, center, backup defensive ends to Ahmed Hassanin. Who's going to back up the Egyptian magician? A safety, maybe a replacement for Alex Anzalone, a replacement for DJ Reader along the interior. And I understand all that. You're going to figure out how to plug these holes. But I am a thinking man's thinking man. And I'm a loyal Spartan dog. So here's what I'm thinking. And feel free to shoot me down. I don't care. And then we'll end the show because one of my colleagues posted something and I'm tired and I don't know what the hell he's talking about. So you guys can tell me what context is someone missing. Might be me, might be somebody else. Or the context that the Lions offensive line stunk or Ben Johnson left. You tell me. My colleague had something to say, but he didn't say anything. And nobody understood what the hell he's talking about. So you can fill me in. You guys are smarter than me. Maybe he answered it because you guys were like, huh? What are you talking about? Here's what I'm saying. The Bills dropped a hammer on Spartan Dog Keon Coleman. Now, I get it. You all are like, Doc, online, on Facebook, on X, you were like, no, stop. No, we don't need it. We need this. We need center. We need left tackle. We need safety. We need interior. Listen, you need talent. And you need guys that are hungry and gritty. Keon Coleman is JMO light. Younger than Tesla. But physical stats you can develop. Here's why I like it. And it's not based on what he's done on the field. He's been immature. He's missed meetings. He's gotten himself benched. He's been trouble. And check out the Buffalo Bills reporter. He's like, I need you to answer for the fact that your wide receivers room is not good enough. Beautiful. Look at that. Look, that's how reporters should act. Buffalo stood up. They go to Brandon Beane and they go, I want to know that it's clear that your efforts to repair your wide receivers room is not good enough. Why did that happen? What are you going to do to correct it? And the general manager is like, you can almost see the daggers going into his, like, whoa. And he's like, okay, I want to talk about Keon. And the owner's like, pause. Owner alert, I'm stepping in. He's like, the decision to draft Keon Coleman was on the guy that we just fired. Brandon's a good team guy. Now, granted, there's a lot of videos online of the general manager going, oh, I like his speed. I like the combine work. I like this. I like that. And there's videos that they reportedly shared on social media that said that Brandon Beane kind of liked him too. There was stuff to like. He's immature. JMO, remember 2-game suspension for the failed performance enhancing thing, the legal situation, the gambling situation. So this falls similarly to this. Now, Sheila didn't drop the hammer on JMO. The Lions supported JMO. And look what you got. You got development. I think Scotty Montgomery could turn Keon Coleman and Isaac Tesla into red zone threats that could make this team lethal. And also, this is also an indictment to me to say, I want to give Jared Goff more weapons. More. Sam Laporta, Keon Coleman, Isaac Tesla, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs might be enough to make Goff an MVP. Maybe. I might want one more. So your friendly homie, podcaster, insider, entertainer, trusted source likes more. I am never going to be happy. Would you do this for like a 6-rounder? They have no trade value. He might get cut. Listen, I'm just doing it today. I wrote and said, yes. Bring the Spartan Dog here to Detroit. Develop him. Make him mature. That man will score touchdowns. And it's not based on the talent that you see in all the film. It's based on if he's ever going to have the grit and the spite and the inner drive to be pissed. If that happened to me, if someone did that to me, there ain't no way I ain't in the gym today catching 1,000 balls and I'm going to be like, I'm going to sing and dance and I'm going to rip on the Bills publicly for 5 years. And the Lions play the Bills next year. I didn't put that in the story, but your friendly podcaster wants to talk about it. I want Keon on this roster. I want more. More for Goff. You're going to need 6 tight ends, 6 receivers, and 4 running backs for Jared Goff. It's got to be perfect for Jared Goff. So I love it. 4 wide receiver set. Keon Coleman on one side, Isaac Tesla on the other, Amon-Ra and JMO. And then you spread them all, send them on go routes, and Isaac and Gibbs and Laporta in the middle. Forget about it. That is Jared Goff proof offense. I am Jared Goff proofing my offense. Am I crazy? Listen, I am blinded by the green of his loyalty to Michigan State, and I know he left to Florida State. 2nd rounder, but been a flop so far. He got 400 yards this year, a couple touchdowns. Court Majors on board. I'd be okay with a late rounder. What do you guys think? Doc, I kind of want anyone we can get from the Hoosiers. I had a dog feeling every time I saw them. Yeah, they're dogs. Would you trade a couple first rounders to move up to get Mendoza? Coming from 17 would be way far down. I think you just draft Chambliss. Right, Steve. 7th, or just wait and see if he gets cut and make it happen. The keys to wisdom. Keon was dope in college too. Said he hated cold weather games, then Buffalo drafts him. He was always going to revolt in Buffalo. Bring him to Detroit. I know. He went back, but he's got it in him. You know, he started off in Spartan land. Listen, you can claim whatever you want. He was a Spartan. He's a former Spartan. I got a lot of this today online. Keon Coleman, is big enough to play tight end? I love it. Is he big enough to play center? Facebook hated it more than X. X understood, okay, the guys, all the Spartans stick together. Facebook was not having it. Keon Coleman is 6'4", 215 pounds. He can come to Detroit, get the high-quality buds, 4 buds at 8 Mile, or Grossbeck, or Van Dyke, or DeQuinder, or Ryan. You know, there's one on every corner. 4 buds, Buds for Life, Green Pill Magic, Wheat Central. You know, the names are great. They're on every corner here. I can go right out here. DeQuinder, Sterling Heights, Roseville, Warren. They're everywhere. Bud Palace. You know, he can start smoking and gain 30 pounds. He can be a tight end. Yeah, baby. Yes or no? I can't hate on Keon because he still helps Hawk recruit upcoming wide receivers. Doc from Dom Yusuf 4858. Doc, we had the 12th best O-line per PFF. With historic weapons, we missed the playoff. Is there any explanation for those facts other than Goff is effing terrible? Okay, listen. Rankings are great, but collectively, listen, that's all cute to tell stories you want to tell yourself, but the offensive line play got the offensive coordinator fired. They didn't run for 100 yards in 7 games. That only happened in like 3 or 4 the year before. Run game wasn't good enough. Pass protection. Goff got sacked the most in his career, or close to it. The offensive line play wasn't good enough. Remember that you get statistical numbers for playing Washington, 50 points on the Bears. You played the Giants. Listen, just watch the games. Watch against the Steelers and the Vikings how bad the offensive line was. The offensive line was not good, subpar. So Goff was okay in regards to managing what he needed to manage. The problem with Jared Goff is he is not evasive of pressure. So like I said, next year he could throw for 4,500 yards and 40 touchdowns. But when you get to the postseason and you start facing the Milton Williams of the world, you know, if it's in the Super Bowl or you start facing some interior pressure, what are you going to do? Because guess what? Tate Ratledge was awful in pass protection. Awful. And he was solid in the run game. So look it up. Let's just double check that because, you know, we want to be factually accurate. Tate Ratledge, PFF. Tate Ratledge understood that he's got to grow. He's got to get better. Overall grade from Mr. Oof. Worse than I thought. Overall grade, 70.3. Pass blocking grade, 58.5. 60th out of 81 guards. Run blocking, 73.5. 50 grade, you don't want that. He's got to get better. His pass blocking was rough. Inshallah, that's right. We got a plan. Deal. I will come this year to watch my son Ahmed and to see my dearest friend Johnny Macaroon and to go eat some shawarma. Let's go. One of each. One jej, one lahmi. Hell yeah, let's go. And the extra tomb, baby. I got it. We got it. Deal. Listen, we'll set you up with a camera. Come on the podcast. We'll set you up in a nice studio, and we'll have like an Arabian theme. We'll have a light music playing, and we'll tell jokes. We'll be like, man, John Macaroon ate like 3 shawarmas and all the fries and all the hummus and all the chicken and all the hummus and and all the kibbeh and baba ganoush. You're like, he didn't save anything for anybody else. Ahmed came to sit down and all the food was gone. Look, what happened to all the food? Hassanin and John ate it all. Inshallah, that'd be great. Good question. I hope Bain. I like an offensive lineman. We'll see. I mean, there's so many names. You know, do the Lions go quarterback? Do they go offense? I would think they're going to go somewhere in the trenches. There's so many names. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., we'll have the mock draft roundup. A lot of people are projecting guards to the Lions this week. Mishanuga, hide the baba. Hide the hummus. Hide the shawarma. Thank you for the super chat. Smash the like button. I think they end up going probably offensive line, maybe defensive line, interior again. I still think they're going to go best player available. You know? We talked about it yesterday. If you want to go recap, Mel Kiper had his first mock draft of the year. He had us going Penn State guard. A little bit wild. So we shall see. We shall see. Let's see who Mel Kiper has in the early rounds in the same range as the Lions. There's a linebacker, C.J. Allen from Georgia, 19. Mansour Delane, cornerback, 18. You know, so they got Ionia from Penn State. The first quarterback, Ty Simpson, QB 16 to the Jets. I haven't looked too much at Ty Simpson from Alabama. I would probably say no. What do you guys think of the Miami defensive end, Akeem Mesidor? If he's there, you take him? I would. Interesting. It's JC's. I think Brad is finally going to go edge in the first round. Hopefully, TJ Parker. Donkey Kong setting my alarm for 7 a.m. Mock draft roundup. Exactly. Boom. I'll text Vito a reminder. 7:01. Give yourself an extra minute. Vito's slow. We'll get up there. 7 o'clock sharp. Which all that is who's being mocked across all these mock drafts this week. Sports Illustrated copied Piper a little bit, had the same guard from Penn State. There's a lot of mock drafts. We round them up for the week, and we share it every Friday or Saturday. Check it out. John Unitas, do you think Petzing would want a center from the Cardinals as the new line center? They're going to have to trade for him, a pick for him, right? Froholt or Froling or whatever is not currently a free agent. He's under contract for one more year. Maybe they trade for him. Maybe that's a possibility. Some in their mock draft listed him in their offseason mock draft listed the guy as a free agent. He's not a free agent. He's under contract. All right, before we get out of here, Help me out. My colleague, good guy, classy traditional journalist. I don't understand what this means. So you could tell me. I'm tired. I don't know what this potentially means. I think it means potentially about Ben Johnson. This is what Corey Woods from MLive shared on his profile today. He said he's Mr. One of them that's going to definitely make sure all the context is in order. The Lions being on their fourth OC going into Campbell's sixth season is not ideal. Correct. But leaving out the context of why they're in this position to drive home a narrative is kind of irresponsible. If Petzing doesn't work out, then cook away. Okay. So the narrative, I believe, is Dan Campbell on the hot seat because he can't pick an OC? And they're in this position because Frank Ragnow retired and the offensive line stunk and they didn't have exactly the best plan to replace a all-pro center. Am I wrong? What's this context this young fella is talking about? What is he talking about? Here's the deal. Here's the deal, people. You can't pick 4 and 5 OCs. You are on the hook for the mistake of John Morton. I don't care what it is. It's never perfect. The NFL is not for long. You sign a center, you draft him, everybody thinks, oh, he's going to be perfect. If you listen to me here at this podcast, the one thing you're going to realize is nothing is perfect with the Lions. They're freaking cursed. So what are you talking about? The team, we all expect, well, Brad's going to wave a magic wand and everybody on the offensive line is going to be perfect and everyone's going to gel and they're all going to love each other. What? Dan Campbell in 2025 had a good team. He brought in 2 inexperienced coordinators and butchered the season. That's on the coach. That's on the general manager. Dan hired Anthony Lynn. And yeah, the talent was different. That didn't work out. Not only are you hiring these guys, you're stripping them of their play calling. So what context? Like, listen, we can sit here and go round and round about context forever. Dan has to make this work. If this doesn't work, Dan Campbell's going to be on the hot seat because the team's not winning. They're like, okay, if the third guy sucks out of 4, now we'll complain. No, we're going to complain now, my friend Corey. We're going to complain now. What are you talking about? The people are complaining right now. What is he talking about? You don't need context. Why are the Lions in this position? This is one of the easier answers of all time. Why are the Lions regressing? When you had a chance to draft good players, you took projects. When you had a chance to draft better players, you invested in the wrong players. This is easy. The regression, at least I've seen this 15 times. You love your own guys. You drafted projects, and some of the guys you should have took, like a Kobe Turner and a Puka Nacua, are on other teams. When you're there, and listen, I know a lot of general managers are going to miss, but I don't give a shit about other general managers. I care about the one that's in Detroit. You can't have Hendon Hooker, Broderick Martin, Levi Onwuzurike, Josh Pascal, and Colby Sorsdahl, and Ennis Rakestraw, Tyrion Arnold not producing. What do you mean? The general manager and the head coach are aligned in the blame. F brothers. So now they got to fix it. This is the easiest thing to ascertain. What the hell happened? Shout out to you, Super Sticker. $89.99 EGP. So Dan Campbell is a head coach of a football team that went backwards. That's on him. That's on the general manager. That's on the roster. It's on the team. That's on the whole consortium, whatever you want to blame. The general manager didn't get enough depth in the draft because he loved his own guys, and those guys got hurt. Dan Campbell's coaching a team so physically tough they can't last the whole season. And these guys are getting older. Frank Ragnow, Taylor Decker. It's common sense kind of stuff. And when it comes time to pick coordinators, you should have went with experience. You went bad Eagles, not good Eagles. Chiefs, 2 NFL coaches, Matt Nagy and Spagnuolo. Lions, John Morton, Kelvin Shepard. No playoffs. Thank you. Check out Crunch Time from yesterday. It was a good show. Yeah, the regression of the Lions is really, I think, the easiest thing to diagnose. All of you know it. I know it. My sister knows it. My mom knows it. But the media in town are like, well, let's give Dan one more try. Let's give Dan more time. Listen, man, 5 years. By next year, all this will be white. This is the NFL, baby. One and done sometimes. Get back to the playoffs. Win. Listen, the NFL is the winning business. It's not the excuse business. It's not the context business. The NFL is the serious win now business. That's why I love this business. And they still have guys like Mr. Dom Yusuf, which I respect, but that will say this. Doc, the 2025 Lions were unarguably the best roster to ever miss the playoffs of Everdom. He's like, it's on golf. And you got a statue quarterback. And he needs his pieces. Listen, Jared, call up the offensive line and take back those cards. Steve, shout out to you, brother. No, go back, rewind it 2 minutes. You'll see a tweet that I just didn't understand. Dan Campbell's on the hot seat. Not in terms of losing his job, but the fans are grumpy. The fans are grumpy, and that's the way it is. Am I wrong in my assessment? Context matters, people. Listen, he picked the wrong offensive coordinator. He got fired. Now you hope that you're hoping. The key word is you're hoping that Drew Petzing is successful. You can do all the research and tell everybody all the EPA numbers that you want. You're still hoping that he's got to go out there and call these plays and sequence them properly and get these guys to be detailed. We shall see. My eyes like this always. What you doing? Why are you doing that? Why'd you sign that guy? Why'd you draft that guy? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? That's the best way to be. Why are you doing that? Why'd you draft that guy? Why didn't you trade for that guy? That's how I'm going to be. Shout out to you, Ken Flagler, 635, 50-plus year fan. You, my friend, are in the Hall of Pain. First member of the Detroit Lions Lone Wolves podcast, Hall of Pain, Mr. Ken Flagler. 50-plus years, immediate induction into the Hall of Pain. You're the first member, Mr. Ken. Congratulations. And for that dubious distinction, you get your name written down in my pad. The Hall of Pain, the hot Ken Flagler. Right now, it's a party of one. It's just you, pal. The Hall of Pain. I'm about to be there. I'm still young, 47 years old, screaming into a microphone 5 days a week, but I'm getting there. Put these glasses on to end this beautiful Thursday, my favorite day of the week. The Hall of Pain. Congratulations. Thank you guys for listening. It was a great show as always. I love talking to you guys every single day. I'm trying to go as many days in a row at 7 p.m. as possible. It's that hour. It feels like it's for me. The 7 o'clock hour. Go over to Crunch Time. Ask Booner about his sex swing and what the hell he was doing yesterday. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. The topics today, respect to Dan Skipper in his NFL career. 69 career games. Respect. And what should the Lions do about Taylor Decker? Should the Lions be bold and add another receiver to a crowded room? What was Mr. Corey Woods talking about? Fill me in. Like I said, my mind's not on context. My mind is, this is what I think. This is what I'm going to say. The Lions regressed. And we know why. They got to do better. And we're all looking at them side-eyed. What are you doing that for? Why? Why are you doing that? Why are you thinking that? Why aren't you thinking like this? There is no acceptance. There is no trust. The trust circle was broken when you don't make the playoffs. Trust circle broken. Now they got to fix it. I'm the Doc, John Macaroon. I represent the Detroit Sports Podcast, which was founded by myself and Mr. Adam the Jock Strozinski. And this is made possible thanks to On SI, a wonderful sports partner that lets us do all this, supports us, lets us be creatively free, and allows us to be us. Let's try again tomorrow. Maybe it'll be a draft talk, probably maybe a tape show. But smash the like button, super chats. All the support is welcome. Dom Yusuf, let's give one last roll call. Again, hop on over to Crunch Time, support the fellas. Ask Booner about his sex life. I feel like he should be bouncing around. Dom Yusuf, Doughboy Steve. Doughboy Steve might be the second inductee. I need one more super chat from you next week, and you'll get right in. Steve Shimenti, shout out to you. Mishanuga, Keith Fountain, Brent DeWitt, TM Esquire, TM Martin Esquire, 6216. My man, Steve Shimenti, Mr. Hassanin Mahdi with the super sticker, and has now put it on the record that we're going to get shawarma, every kind of shawarma, beef, lamb, chicken. Johnny Unitas, Donkey Kong, the keys to wisdom, Dom Yusuf. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. This has been my time. Thanks, everybody, for the 62 minutes. Let's talk tomorrow. Probably draft talk.